Now, you never suspect that this apartment complex next to a busy highway here in Ocean Springs, Mississippi, hides a half-mile nature trail. Today we're going to take a look at it. It is called the Overlook. Now, this trail was started back in 2019 with help from the Land Trust of Mississippi Coastal Plain and the Mississippi Department of Environmental Quality, along with lots of other volunteers and donations. A little plaque there tells you about it. That's a half-mile from end to end. It goes from one side of this condo complex to the other side. Now, this trail is actually fairly new, as it opened in July of 2023, if I'm not mistaken. Now, what the Land Trust Coastal Conservation does is tries to preserve areas of land to keep them in a more natural aspect, and also to create areas for people to come out and enjoy nature, such as this trail here. Now, also off to our right, that way, is the 12 Oaks nature trail, which I did that a couple of years ago actually, but from my understanding they have done some work to it, so we're going to take a look at it, but that's going to be in another video, I do believe. Now, why it's called the Old Fort Bayou Overlook is if you can look through the woods there, that area out there is Old Fort Bayou. Now, that bayou drains out into the Biloxi Bay, which drains out into the Gulf of Mexico, right here on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. So I'm going to keep on hiking here and see what we can find. Now, first impressions, the trail is a very natural trail. There's no drainage inhibitors, things that help drainage, no rocks. It's all natural. So there's lots of leaves and roots and stuff like that, so be mindful of that if you come out here. But there's plenty of shade and lots of different types of trees and plants and so forth. Like I said, I'm gonna keep on hiking, and there's some boardwalks and piers and overlooks out here that we're going to get to and take a look at those to overlook the bayou, and maybe we'll get to see some aquatic wildlife. So let's keep on hiking and see what we can get into. As we get closer to the bayou, it's kind of interesting, a big hill of dirt just lingering there. It's been there for quite a while, has some trees growing out of it. But here we come to the first boardwalk. And this is another one of those composite type decking situations, I guess. But this one has a lot of drainage in it. This is pretty neat. I've never seen one like this. It's kind of like a plastic grating. But here we are at the back side of this apartment, condos, whatever you want to call them, overlooking Old Fort Bayou. Kind of interesting here along this boardwalk. There's different sayings and such about nature and in life in general. carved into the handrail. So this trail has some very interesting aspects to it that I've never seen before. Very creative. And just by the looks of this boardwalk, it was not very cheap to do, as there's a lot of work and materials that's gone into this trail system. Not something you would typically see right off the side of the highway in a pretty densely populated area. But I'm glad it's here to protect the area that it's in, so no more businesses, condos can approach on the wetlands. And that's one of the things I think that the land trust helps do, is protect the land and keep it in a more natural aspect. I also seen where they will come onto your property itself with land management and things like that, and get rid of invasive species, show you the invasive species on your property. I've seen where they've gone to some trails around the area and done some clearing of invasive species and burnt them off and things like that, and they tell you, don't worry, you know, we're not killing good plants, we're killing the bad plants. So, but anyways, we're going to hike on through. I think there's another boardwalk that goes out into the water here. Take a look at it here very shortly. Now we've come to a T in the trail here. To the left is those condos. You can actually park right there and walk right down here to one of these piers that's out in the water. And this area is pretty open. It has some crushed gravel. Kind of reminds me of a boat launch almost. It may actually have been a boat launch at one time. I'm not exactly sure. These condos behind us, they're only a couple years old. I can't remember what they originally were, or what was originally there. I just can't remember. It's been a while, but yeah, we're gonna go over here, cross over this boardwalk on this little pier here, and it looks like they have one of those. I guess that's for kayaks. You can bring your kayak in and kind of mount and dismount easily. I think that's what that is. If you know what that is, let me know in the comment section below. But I think that's for kayaks, canoes, that sort of thing. But here you are again on the old Fort Bayou. Now I'm just to the right of that pier, kind of out in the marsh here, just looking for some wildlife. If you do come out here, be very mindful of your step. Okay, this is prime area for alligators and or snakes. See where this little side trail leads us to. Looks like it goes a little bit further out into the bayou here. Almost like a little fishing spot back in here. Somebody's fishing spot or a relaxation spot. Hopefully it's not an alligator relaxing spot, because I can't run fast. There's a big pelican over there, going after some food. Getting him some dinner. Now, I don't know how well you can see that, but just off the trail here that leads down to the pier is a piece of decorative concrete. See if I can, you kind of see it there. It almost looks like a bench, and there's a water spigot right there. One of the old remnants of whatever used to be here back in the day. I'm not sure, like I said before, I'm not sure what used to be here. I want to say it was a homestead or a couple homes back in here. I really don't remember. I remember coming past the area growing up and as a teenager. My memory is not serving me very well of what this used to be. But now, it's a nature trail on the backside of some condos. So I'm gonna head back the way we came. Maybe I can see something here again on the boardwalk. And there is a little classroom set up on the other end of this trail. I'm gonna go see what that's all about. And there might be another pier out there. So we're gonna go find out really quickly. Okay, so that's the way we came in from originally. And we're gonna go down this trail here. Supposedly there is a classroom of some sorts or a learning area, possibly another little overlook. We're going to head on down this way and see what's down this way. Here's something pretty cool right here on this little inlet. Little park bench you can sit at. Enjoy your day. Might sit here for a little bit and see what comes my way. So I sat there for a few minutes, seen a bunch of fish jumping, some birds flying by. Look at that mushroom right there. That mushroom, it might be hard to tell. That thing is about the size of the palm of my hand. And that looks like an old fence post of some sorts. Huh. Still more remnants of, and there's another one. That's some of the remnants of what used to be out here. I believe this area here is the classroom area. Some benches, an informational board that talks about the area and how it became. This is called the Hussey property. Kind of talks about the area and what's out here. But it doesn't say what this property was. In fact, there's another fence post right there. Huh, that's interesting. I don't know if you can see it. A piece of rebar sticking out of the ground. That's not too safe. And that one's squared off. A piece of squared off metal. Huh. That's more remnants of what used to be out here. The ground looks to be concrete here. Now this concrete and these benches and those fence posts are well over a year old. So I wonder if this was another type of trail or private setup or something. I'm not sure. Things just aren't adding up here. Like I said, I don't know the history. I know there was something out here back in the day, but I can't remember what it was. I don't think it was commercialized. I think it was more residential. So anyways, we're gonna follow this trail. There's another one that goes that way. We'll take that one in a minute. We'll follow this one down towards the water here and see if we can see some stuff. That's another part of the bayou here. Might be some good fishing in there. Not sure if they're allowed to go fishing here. There's other little trails that go around the bayou and such here. This probably takes us back to the back towards the little learning center area. I'm not going to get off in here. If you come this way, be very mindful where you're at. Water moccasins and alligators. We're going to go back up here and take a look at this other trail, see where it takes us to. So I went down the other trail, and there's nothing down there but a little, what I call a fishing hole spot, just a place that ends right there in the water. But yeah, kind of an interesting setup out here. Sitting there right here in the heart of, I guess you say the heart of Ocean Springs. But seeing some of the remnants, such as a fence post and them pieces of metal on the ground, I'm really more intrigued now about the history of this property. So I'm gonna try to do a little research, and if I find anything else about the property, I'll put it in the video description. And if you want to go from there and read it. But if you're ever in Ocean Springs, right here on Highway 90 at the inlet condos, right beside it is this overlook at Fort Bayou Trail. Come on out here, stretch your legs, see some sights and sounds, and enjoy your day. But anyways, head back to the car. I appreciate y'all watching. We'll see you next time.